484 words about Blarggs in Super Mario World. Published on my website, accordionsprout.com, 25th of March, 2024. First of all, I didn't know the lava dragons in Vanilla Dome 3 of Super Mario World were known as Blarggs. I just called them lava dragons. Second, I never play this level without a Yoshi. If I don't have a Yoshi, I'll return to Yoshi's Island 2 and play the level through just so I can have a Yoshi. My reason is simple. His boots make the most satisfying sound when Blarggs try to attack me. Third, the two G's at the end of Blarg's name are absolutely brilliant for rhetorical and linguistic reasons. And no, I will not explain why. The Blargs were some of my favorite non playable characters, NPCs, in Super Mario World because they cannot truly be defeated. Well, they could, actually, but I was never good enough at the game to do this. That, and it is far more satisfying jumping over them anyway. While many of the enemies in Super Mario World silently launch themselves at Mario as he navigates the obstacle course that is Dinosaur Island, the Blargs make a slow, gurgling grumble that reverberates through the underground chasm as they dip up and then sink back into the lava. While riding Yoshi, this sound is accompanied by a double click as my reptile companion's boots bounce against the top of Blarg's skull, making a click clack. This is still one of the most satisfying sounds in any video game. Blargs are memorable because they're the most animated villain Mario will face, other than Bowser's children. Blargs dwarf Mario in size, and their eyes can be seen peeking out of the lava before they strike. When they appear, they are large orange beasts that resemble superheated metal. Their eyes are crossed, and they have thick, chubby molars, implying that they would have to grind Mario to paste rather than chew his body to ribbons. There are exactly 10 Blargs to avoid in Vanilla Dome 3, all while riding a raft made out of skulls that may or may not be human. This raft will lead me up ramps and will often take me to chasms where the lava disappears and I will have to hoof it across the cavern floor, dodging enemies that, compared to Blargs, are surreal in their normality. Once through, I can resume my strange skull boat ride and continue jumping or knocking against the head of these monsters until the end. Every level of Super Mario World is an obstacle course, and as a platformer, its design is to challenge the player's ability to keep Mario's feet on the ground. Goombas, Koopa Troopas, and even Bullet Bills are not terribly challenging because as long as I can jump on them, then I can continue playing. Mushrooms, shells, moles, and even bullets can be defeated with just the right jump. Blargs challenge me because I can't touch them, and their grumbles are almost taunts that echo infinitely. Joshua Jammer Smith, 25th of March, 2024. Howdy, I'm Jammer. So, first off, as always, thanks for listening, y'all. I tremendously appreciate it. I say that every time, and I'm going to keep saying it every time because whoever you are, wherever you are, you spent 6 or at this point, really more around like 5 minutes listening to me talk about a video game from the 90s. And hey, I think that's pretty cool. And I think you're pretty cool. So, again, thank you for listening. Watching. Words. What are those? I have a master's degree. Anyway, as always, the usual claptrap has to follow. If you liked the video and you would like to see more, please like, share, and subscribe, all that just stuff. It helps me, one, because I see people like the video, they share the video, and it makes me think, oh, okay, somebody's actually listening. There's reason to keep doing these. But then also, too, it helps the channel because if YouTube sees likes and shares, it's going to bring more people to it, which in turn will give me more opportunity to spend time writing and recording about video games, which don't really need an excuse to do that, but at the same time, just little bits of validation along the way. And speaking of which, another way to support this channel is if you're interested, I do have a Patreon. It'll be in the description section below, but it's literally just patreon.com/jammerdraws. This Patreon is set up so there is only a $1 a month tier. That's it. Just $1. And Patreon takes like 25 cents out of it. So it's really 75 cents. The reason why there's only one tier is because I can't do the cool stuff of like, hey, give me a $5 tiers and you get all these behind the scenes stuff and all that. And no, I treat my Patreon a lot like a street musician with a hat or a guitar case. If you like what I'm throwing down, throw a buck in my hat. That's it. That's all it is. And if you want to do it for a full year, you got $12 you don't mind parting with, throw it in there. Or I believe there's an option in Patreon so you could do a one-time donation for whatever amount you feel comfortable with. Whatever the case, if you feel like supporting, follow that link, help me out. Now, as for this essay, fun fact, I actually recorded this thing about 3 or 4 different times. One, because the first recording sucked. Like, it just sucked, dude. Like, I was listening to it and I fell asleep while listening to it. And there was like no passion or energy to my voice. I don't know what was going on. Maybe I had a bad day at work. Maybe I was tired. But to put it in perspective, I'm sick right now. Excuse me, while recording this. And I feel like this one has far more energy and conviction behind it. So, this was the eighth recording of this essay to get it right. You'd think, as many hours as I played Super Mario World, that I wouldn't have this issue, but apparently I did. Anyway, there will be a link to the original essay in the description section below. This is yet another in the under 500 word series that I've done for my website, accordionsprout.com. The general premise is I take a video game, some component in it, and I write an essay about it. And the goal is to write it using less than or equal to, math words, 500 words in total. I like this structure. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like the haiku structure of poetry, but also it's just a fun exercise because if I don't put a limit on myself, I will write 2, 3, 4,000 word essays about stuff. And I have done that, and I will continue to do that because I like to write and I like to talk about stuff that I think is cool, like Super Mario World. But this is just the under 500 word essay. I do plan right now. Saying this right now so that I can at least make sure I'm holding myself to it. I'm currently picking out an essay or one of my longer essays to do a recording of. So keep your eye on that. I will say right now I'm leaning a little towards either the essay I wrote about Snorlax from Pokemon Red and Blue version, or possibly the essay I wrote about taking the stairs in the original Final Fantasy VII game. One or the other, I'm not quite sure just yet, but whichever one I pick, you'll see it once it's on the channel. And I think that's pretty much it. Again, if you listen to me ramble on for another 3 or 4 minutes, wow, you are a nerd and I love you for it. Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for listening. And with that, go play some video games.